Welcome to She-Nanigans, where real conversations meet real perspectives. I'm your host, Kay, and this is the space where we unpack culture, challenge ideas, and sometimes stir the pot just enough to make us all think a little deeper. Now, here's the thing about She-Nanigans. This isn't about winning arguments, it's about hearing different perspectives, questioning what we think, questioning what we know, and having the kind of conversations people are already having behind closed doors. But what we doing, see, we bringing them to the table. Now, before we jump into it, you know how we do it here on She-Nanigans. Nobody on this panel knows what topic we're about to dive into because we let the wheel decide. Now, the reason we do this is simple. Real conversations aren't rehearsed. They're raw. They're this wheel. Let's go ahead and spin it and see what the culture has for us tonight.
Wheel of culture.
The loneliness epidemic. Why are people more connected than ever? Yet more alone. Let me read that again. Why are people more connected than ever, yet more alone? That's a good one. So we live in the most connected time, y'all, in human history. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We can reach anyone instantly. Yet studies say loneliness is rising across generations. And so tonight we're gonna unpack why. So I want to ask each of you a question. And I want you to answer this question and I want you to back it up. You can't just opt out. You got to answer and then you have to back it up. So the question is, do you believe people are more lonely today than previous generations?
Oh, absolutely. I think so. Because it's too much mental illness going on, mental health. Nobody knows who to turn to. Too much suicide rate is really high. Yeah. And you think that they're happy, and then, next thing you know, they're not happy. You find out that they're not.
Good insight, Cassandra. Thank you for that. Shan?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Shan, go ahead.
Shan?
Go ahead, Shan.
So the question was, do you believe people are more lonely today than previous generations?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think it's more or less social media. It's more or less of a fan base, so to speak. It's popular to be around a crowd of people. It's popular to do this, but they don't connect with true friendships. So once the crowd is gone, once the excitement is gone, you're back in your own little corner. It's like you didn't develop an actual friendship, an actual connection with these people. You're just based on that one particular thing that y'all like, or the one particular thing that's popular at the moment. So once that's gone, you have nothing.
That's good. And Nathaniel, I know you wanted to interject. I want to put a pin right here because I want to bring up something personal to me. Having children, guys, it's like you compare things that you did and how you grew up with how they are growing up, or things that they are having to encounter. So when the twins were coming up, they didn't get cell phones until they were like in the 7th grade. I wasn't doing all that elementary school cell phone type situation, but then I felt like it was necessary once they got in middle school because they were doing after school stuff. So it was like, okay, let's just go ahead for safety reasons, give them a cell phone. I feel like that was the biggest mistake I ever could have made, because at that point, true friendships were no longer even a priority. They would be in a room with an individual that was supposed to be a friend, but this is all they're doing. No, hey, how you doing? And I'm just gonna use Jada because it was Jada and Kristen would be together, Cassandra's Jada, and not even really interact because they were both on their phones, and it was almost like, hey, and that was it.
That was it.
That was it. Nothing else. And these two ladies have known each other since they were 2 years old.
Grew up together, pretty much.
Grew up together. And it was to what you said, Shan. You are absolutely correct. There's no meaningful friendships being forged when we are taking to social media the way we are. And we think that these people on social media take the place of a real friendship, but it does not. And
Right.
especially on our most impressionable audiences. It's a little different with adults, but these kids really be thinking that these people on social media are like they homeboys, homegirls, and you don't have no real connection with these people. There's no real connection. So, I just wanted to bring that up, and then Nathaniel, go ahead and say what you want to say.
Oh, yeah.
That was beautiful.
Thank
That was
you.
beautiful. That was no, you're right. I think again it goes back to what Shan said. The connectivity, it's just that. It's not really a connection. If that makes any sense, it's just that I have access. That's what I'm calling. We have access. Okay, access does not mean that you have a connection. I have access to watching the entertainment. I have access to listen to some type of music, but am I making a connection to it? No. It goes back to, as I said in previous, the interpersonal skills, being able to interact with someone. It's easier for me to sit on my phone and play and interact with somebody I don't know than it is for me to be in the room with somebody and actually talk to them and have a conversation. But then at the same time, though, you got to think about this too. A lot of these kids, they grew up with social media. They grew up with also, they're always being inundated with information. So even it goes back to reading books, okay? How many kids do you know have an imagination or can draw from imagination just so that they can have a conversation with somebody about something outside of what they're seeing on their phone, outside of what's being pushed out there? You see what I mean? So, yeah, I agree. The loneliness, the idea of making that, because as human beings, we're supposed to make connections, but that loneliness and everything, it's real, because it's kind of like you said before. Once you go back to your room and they go back to where they are, it's nothing there. It's no substance. It's all surface.
Yeah.
All surface. So it's like fake. It's not. That's why I use the term. The internet is not real. I might get on Facebook, and Christy probably tell you, I get on Facebook and be talking about something, but I don't have feelings about that. I'm like, okay, because I don't know you, so I really don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really don't. It doesn't matter what you think.
Right. So then, if we're keeping in the same vein with connection, what's missing from those online connections that real life connections provide, Professor J?
I didn't know you were gonna answer this question. So that's something that I'm dealing with personally right now. Um, everybody knows how much I love the entire Jackson family. I'm not just a Michael Jackson fan, but the Dad Jackson fan. I love all things Jackson. And so a few years ago, by way of a video that I posted, and it went viral, and it ended up catching the attention of LaToya Jackson. And after it got her attention, she alerted several other members of her family. Fast forward to now, where I actually communicate online with several members of their family with enjoyable regularity, is what I'll call it. And so, of course, the movie is getting ready to come out, and everyone's excited about that. And of course, nobody would rather be at the big Hollywood premiere of the Michael movie, more than I would like to be. And I asked a few people if they thought it would be inappropriate for this family who, throughout history, has been plagued by, opportunists who always try to get close to them for the wrong reasons and stuff like that. Would it be okay if I said, hey, how does one get invited to the premiere, and stuff like that? And I ended up asking someone who rubbed elbows with celebrities every single day, and that person was Shelley Wade. And she and I do have a friendship, and she does talk to and see and shake hands with celebrities every single day. And she said, you're forgetting one very important thing. And I was like, what's that? You have a connection with them. That does not mean you have an actual relationship with them. Just because you have a familiarity online does not mean
Mm-hmm.
that, that you have that type of, that you're on that level on their totem pole, so to speak. And yes, we have, and I'm just telling y'all this, the honest to God truth, and Christy knows this. We have exchanged, hey man, I love you, bro. Love you too, man. And all that and everything. We've done all of that, but I still don't know Jafar Jackson. I still don't know Your
Correct.
Majesty,
Right.
and all of that. And
Mm-hmm.
I would rather keep it where it is now than to say, well, I really did kind of want to come to the movie premiere, and then next thing you know, block and all of
Correct.
that,
And that's
Yeah.
exactly.
and so yeah, because again, these people every single day somebody is running up to them, say, man, I know we cool, can you introduce me to Janet, and all that kind of stuff, and I genuinely don't want to be that person. In my heart, I believe that they know that I'm not that person, but I still don't want to run the risk of saying something that's deemed, out of line or whatever. And who knows, somewhere between now and April, what, like a week before the movie come out for everybody else, who's to say that one of them won't say, hey man, we really appreciate what you, done promoting the family and all that kind of stuff. Come on and, or whatever. Could it happen? Yeah. Will it? Probably not. But
You could.
still, I'm not gonna put, the familiarity to be this close to this family that I've loved all my life, and then all of a sudden have it shut
Right.
down. And so, what's your point, Professor? It is that they're two totally different concepts, you know. And Pastor Cosby talks about this
Mm-hmm.
all the time. The people would always say it's not what you know, but who you know. And Pastor Cosby says all the time, it ain't even who you know. It's not what you know. It's not who you
Mm-hmm.
know. It's who knows you.
Knows you. Correct.
Because I know all them folks, but they really don't know who
And
I.
say,
They know I'm a teacher who makes his children sing Michael Jackson songs, and that's really
like you
the
say,
extent
knowing
of it.
somebody.
Go ahead.
Right. No,
Good.
I'm saying I
What
didn't
you
mean to
say,
cut you
Nate?
off. Sorry. No, I'm saying knowing somebody and knowing of somebody is are two totally different things.
Yeah.
Knowing
Yeah.
of and
You know what I
knowing,
mean?
you're
Like I
right.
know Jay. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. Right. So that's
Yeah.
totally different. There are people that I know of that don't know or don't wish to know, but I know of you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus knowing me, it's more of an intimate relationship. I think
Yes.
more personal.
And I
Mhm.
yeah, and I think that to answer the question, what's missing from that online connection, Nathaniel, like you said, is that intimacy piece. It's
Right.
like it's a whole stream between us, and you could be selling me a dream. You could be selling
Mm-hmm.
me whatever it is you'd like for me to know. You could be selling
Green
your
screen.
representative.
Yep.
But if we are
Yeah.
face to face, it's a lot of stuff that almost be able to see based on
Mm-hmm.
the way you are responding, your mannerisms, your facial expressions, all of those things. So yeah, it is a real, that whole intimacy piece kind of is missing from that online connection. And so we kind of talked about this earlier, but I want to pivot back to this texting versus in-person interaction. So we communicate constantly now. We either texting, we DMing, we FaceTiming, we Snapchatting, we WhatsApping, all of that crap. Has texting, and Nathan, you kind of really talked to this. Now it was like, dang, that's another topic. But has
Oh.
texting replaced meaningful conversations?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I'm gonna call it because it's not. Think of it this way. Think of it this way. Let's say I was like, Chrissy, you done. Okay,
Okay.
look at my face. Hear how the inflection in my voice. See how my body movement. It's like he playing with me.
Yeah.
Now let me sing you that same text. Put it right to Christy, you done. You can take that as, but why is he calling me dumb? Is he exactly? You see what you just did? You see what I mean? So there you go right there. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? There you go. So
Yes.
yeah.
Anyone else want to answer that question? That was very good, Nathaniel. You're absolutely right. You just cannot read a person's true meaning and feeling through text messages, and I'm guilty of that because it's so convenient, And
Right.
I really try to be as neutral as possible in the things that I say if I'm texting, just because I know it's really hard to decipher through text messages. But I'm a just go-to texter. You know, I if I enjoy conversation with the people, I will talk to them on the phone. But I would prefer. I'm just like, send smoke signals, goddamn, before you call me. Depending on who you are, don't call me.
No, you didn't.
Do not call me.
You said send smoke signal.
I'm serious. I'm
Send your
serious.
pigeon.
Depending on who it is, like, you know, Nathan, I can talk with you all day because we just,
Yeah, we
you
can
know,
go.
but it's
But we know each other though.
Yeah.
We have a connection. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So we know each other.
yes.
And we kind of know each other's temperament and things like that. That's why I said, you know, it's like that. But there's something I was gonna say about the texting too. I was being funny because to me, this is my thing. If you're on the phone with somebody versus just texting the conversation with them, to me, when you're texting somebody or you want to have a whole conversation via text, it just tells me that, you know what, I'm not worth your attention. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, that's just me. I'm not worth your attention because I can be texting you and be doing something else, whole nother conversation, and not giving you attention, even versus me on the phone. It does take a modicum of focus and attention, but at the same time, though, to really be in the conversation, to be in the moment, you know, it's like, hey, it's just a different feeling. You know what I mean?
Good.
More of a connection to me. But
That's
again,
good.
that's just me, though.
That's so layered. We ain't gonna go there though, but that's so layered, Nathan. That is
Yeah.
so layered. Sandra, did y'all want to lend to that question?
So I think that talking on the phone, a lot of people, they don't like that awkward silence.
God.
And so I've heard that before. It's like, ooh, the awkward silence. And I'm like, what? It's not awkward to me. Well, maybe it's awkward to you because there's nothing being said. I'm perfectly comfortable with the silence. But a lot of people are not comfortable with not having anything to say on the phone. It's times I could be on the phone with you and not say nothing. You know, I could be doing something, and then when something come up, then start the conversation up again, you know. But a lot of people, they don't like that awkward, men and women. You know, I've been on the phone with a friend girl of mine. If we wasn't talking, then she had to go. She didn't like the silence on the phone. I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I respected her. So, I don't know what the whole awkward silence thing is because I don't have a problem with it. I'm okay with silence, you know, not having anything to say. But a lot of people are not, so they prefer just to text. They avoid that.
Yeah, I can attest to that because for me, it really depends on who the person is. Like if it's somebody I've known, like Nathaniel said, like if me and Nathaniel on the phone, first of all, if he goes silent, I'm gonna think something wrong because this man can talk. Okay, so for me it depends. Like because me and Stephanie, we could be on the phone for hours. I mean, like 5 hours. And my mom is like, you must be on the phone with Stephanie. Talking about, that's how y'all talk. Y'all haven't said nothing for 30 minutes. I said, Mama, we on the phone because we're comfortable with each other, and I've been knowing her 30 years. I don't need to fill the space with conversation every minute. It's somebody like I'm getting to know, and it's that silence. It's just like, do we need to hang up? What's going? It's weird. If I'm trying to know you, and it's silent on the phone, it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll talk to you later. Bye. What, you know?
Yeah. So like, that's how me and my girlfriend and me and my sister is. We've been on the phone for like 7 hours. I could be washing the dishes, mopping the floor, outside in the yard. But we're on, and Jada come and she'll pick up my phone and be like, Mom, you've been on the phone 5 hours already. You ain't said 2 words. You know, it's like, but you know. It is what it is.
That's the comfortability of the person that you're on the phone with. I mean, y'all are comfortable with each other, so you don't have to fill in every, space with talking. It's okay. It's okay. Professor,
but isn't that's really what the initial, our topic today really lends itself to, is because when you do have that kind of connection with somebody, that silence is not awkward, and in fact it's the opposite, it's meaningful, because your connection with that person is so strong that you can just be sitting there and not saying nothing, and you're just enjoying each other's company. And it took me a long time to figure that out. my best friend Katana had to teach me that when I moved into my very first apartment, and I was going to her house almost like every day because I didn't want to be in my apartment by myself. And she was like, you know what? She was like, a lot of times when you come over here and you hang out and stuff like that, some of the most meaningful times that we together is when we just sitting watching TV and we ain't saying a word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, that's
just
important.
knowing that the other
I
one
don't
is
think
there,
you
just being
always
in
have
that
to
presence
say
of that other
anything.
person. That's connection, you know.
Right.
But then you have these new people. That's just what I call everybody just come behind us. These new people, you know, where you're in the same room with somebody and you ain't saying with 2 or 3 words but it's not because you have a connection, it's because you're avoiding one. Because you don't even know how to connect because you're so tethered to a device.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know how to do that. And I actually have 2 friends, Chrissy, you
Yes,
know one of them,
Cassandra.
that it is like this person, it drives her up the wall. Especially she has a thing about treating people to lunch, dinner, and stuff like that. She has a fit if you get on your phone because her whole thing is she wants to talk to you and engage with you and stuff like that. As
Mm-hmm.
far as, you know, other quirks that she has outside of that, I really do have a great deal of respect for her that that's her thing. You know, you're not gonna sit up in here and suck up all my food and be on your phone the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Building
that
up.
makes that makes a lot that makes a lot
It
of
I do know
sense.
both of
does.
them. I don't know why I
Definitely.
said one.
I don't know. Um, all right. So moving on to the next question, or did anyone else want to dive into that one? If not, okay. So now, talking about vulnerability, I know that that word has come up several times tonight. Is it easier to be vulnerable through a screen than in person?
Are you being vulnerable through that screen, or are
I
you just pretending?
I don't know. You tell.
Exactly. Well, it's easy. It's easier to mask who you are through that screen. Think about that. That's easier for me to be somebody else I'm not, versus being in front of you, versus talking to you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? That's easy.
yeah, yeah.
It is very hard for me to be vulnerable. I really have to
Y'all know me.
pray
I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say off the screen,
on
off the screen,
who.
through your face, behind your back,
Well,
whatever.
when
I'm
I
just
when I
gonna say
think
what I
about
gotta say.
vulnerability, so let's get this understanding. When we say vulnerability, when we're talking about being vulnerable, I'm thinking, and this is where my answer is coming from. I'm thinking from um, really letting like an intimate relationship, whether that be friend or male counterpart. It's hard for me to really be vulnerable because I think that I really have to trust you to be
Hmm.
vulnerable. You just cannot give vulnerable. You can't give your vulnerability away. You just cannot be vulnerable with everyone. And so I really have to trust you and know that you are going to handle me with fragile hands in my vulnerable state. Um, and that's what I have to work on because I find that I will put up
Wall.
a wall or a
Hmm.
tough
Yeah.
exterior where
Hmm.
before I just really break down and become vulnerable because in that breaking down like you can be ate up you can be ate up by wolves sheep, you are just a sheep.
Yeah.
It can be ate up, and that's how I feel. That's where I come from. And so it's really hard for me to be vulnerable even with my boyfriends. I'm like, can I really trust you to show you this side of me? Because that's sometimes that can come back to hurt you even with them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no, that's important, and that even like say friendships. I mean, you think about this when
Yeah.
people say, "Yeah, friends are for a reason or a season."
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
why do you stop talking to somebody? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Why do you stop associating with someone? They've done something to
They've done
hurt you.
something.
Correct.
They've
Mhm.
done something.
Or they
You know
know
what I mean?
something
Right. Well, yeah, it's something that
that comes back up. Yeah.
Uh
real big with me.
Yeah.
Trust is real.
Trust.
That's a big thing with
That's
me.
with me. That's
And
it.
once
I
you
got
lose
to
my
trust you.
yeah, right. Once you lose my trust, we done.
Yeah.
Like we done. Like I don't even. And it's not that I hate you.
Yeah.
It's like I can't
I
trust you,
can never
and
trust
I'm
you
done.
again.
Yeah, I'm done. And you know, my wife always tells me, somebody always tell me, I put people in categories. You know,
Me too.
put people in categories.
I
I
do.
do. It's like I know this person. If something was to go down, if it was to inconvenience them, they're not going to show up. So
Yeah.
I can't. I know I can't call you for that, but I can call you this other person for this over there. Versus me, that's not how I am. And Jay will tell you that when it comes to friendship, hey, I'm all in, regardless.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so all I ask
Really
is
are.
I guess what I'm,
Yeah,
yeah.
you really
All
are.
I ask is whatever I'm gonna give you. Yeah, what I'm gonna give you, I just want that in return. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Correct.
Absolutely.
that's all.
Because like you said, I'm all in. I'm that person. When
Right.
I'm in, I'm in. I'm not
Right,
half in.
exactly.
I'm all the way in.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so, can I trust you? It's trust with me. Because if I,
Yeah.
look here, let me tell you something, honey. I'm gone.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of that even with me comes from growing up and being, you always talk, give people the benefit of the doubt and growing up and getting burned. And I was like, nah, and because it's like going in a relationship. When you go into a relationship with somebody, you're going into it. I'm just saying, hey, you know what? This could be great, or I can get hurt. Am I willing to open myself up to be hurt? No one likes to get hurt. And that's friendships or, intimate relationship, dating somebody or something like that. So
Yeah.
I get it. So yeah, that wall is good. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That was you. I mean, hey, those are some good points y'all brought up. It really did. It kind of, we went to another lane, but it still comes back to the same lane. About this whole, loneliness and
Yes, lonely. Yeah.
how we can put ourselves in that situation, especially with that whole trust thing, because that's big. That trust aspect is huge.
And going back to what you said, the whole idea of loneliness, people always think, how can someone be married or in a relationship and still be lonely?
Easy.
Think about
Easy,
that.
very
How can you
easy.
Right, exactly. But because you're with that person, but you're like, but I'm
How is
lonely.
that supposed to be?
You see what I mean?
Lonely in a house,
Right.
or in a house, whatever.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But go
Okay.
ahead. I'm sorry.
So let's talk about this. When was the last time y'all had a real conversation without your cell phone involved?
All the time. For me,
Yeah.
all the time.
Your job allows you to do that. Yeah, and mine
Absolutely.
Right.
mine does too.
No, the funny thing about me is I get fussed at because I'll be in the house and I'll put my phone somewhere. It's on silent because I don't want to be bothered. It's just sitting there. And so people are like, we've been trying to call you. And I'm like, why you didn't answer the phone? It's in the other room and I'm somewhere else. I'm okay, but I'm not tethered to it like that. You know what I mean?
That's
so
funny.
I can have a conversation.
I want to get there though. I
Yeah.
still yet to put my phone on silent and put it away because I'm always thinking it's going to be an emergency. Somebody's
Right.
going to call me.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I totally understand. I totally get. But yeah, I am very much, if it wasn't for me doing business and things like that, I'm the type of person, prior to me doing that, I would leave my phone at home. I didn't have to have my phone. Because we grew up without it. So I'm like, I don't need it. You know what I mean?
And stay just like that. Stay just like that.
You know, I had to cut the TV off because it was a distraction to me. Not that I be looking at it. I always, when I'm thinking, I stay in the room and I'll be looking at the TV. Not that I'm watching the TV. I'm listening and I'm thinking. So you didn't cut that TV out because I had to just cut the TV off.
Engagement has been on.
I do need to turn it off because y'all, my TV in my bedroom is like really, 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 really big. So it's like I almost just can't ignore it, but I did just turn it off now that I've been attacked.
Look, listen. Now, here we go. Now, see how he turned around to be a victim now? So basically,
Correct.
okay, basically, you just,
Look,
I just
wait a minute.
not to do, and now I'm being attacked. There you
now
go right
need
there.
therapy.
You protect your peace.
Exactly.
Now
That
need
accountability
therapy.
piece.
Accountability.
Every time I turn my TV on now, it's gonna be a trigger.
Oh, Jesus.
Who gonna turn that TV on? That's a trigger.
look, Jason, you gonna hear somebody say and you gonna be like, oh Lord, you gonna get triggered. All they gotta say is
Right?
don't say the whole word. We're gonna continue. So now, there was a time. Now we're gonna talk about community now because community plays a big role in loneliness and connections and all that thing as well. So we know growing up, there was a time when people were a part of churches. We were a part of clubs, neighborhood civic clubs. Now we can't seem to find time or interest for any of those types of things. So what's the problem? Are people just too busy, or are we less interested in community?
That's what I was told. You make time for what you want to make time for.
And
I just leave it at that.
That still stands true today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you make time for what you want to do, and you make time for the people that you want to interact with. And
Correct.
so, you know, as far as certain clubs and certain things, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but there are certain organizations that I've been a part of that don't align with the way that I've evolved in my thinking, and so sometimes it's just a matter of avoiding that. You know what I mean? Going back to churches, you talk about churches and things of that nature, specifically the Black church. Well, certain churches it's about just money. Other churches it's about other things that are outside of what they're supposed to be, or I guess supposed to be divinely put in place to do. So I think a lot of times it kind of go or aligns with where you are in life and where you're trying to go and how you're trying to evolve, move forward, person.
Okay. Anyone else want to lend to that conversation about, being too busy or just less interested? What about this?
Well, I
Has
think
individualism?
the advent of social media has made people less interested. I mean, again, if everybody is sitting at the dinner table with their phones and not saying anything in your own home, with your people who you have a blood connection to and all that, then it stands to reason that you don't give a fine big about who's across the street next door and all that kind of stuff. And it's sad. I really consider myself fortunate that when I moved to where I live now, my neighbors introduced themselves to me literally the second or third day. All of them, the neighbor across the street, the ones on each side of me, and all that. Granted, the neighbor across the street hit my car about 2 or 3 weeks later, but still, they were interested. Again, they were interested. There's a new person who lives here in the community. Let's go introduce ourselves and stuff like that. You just don't see that anymore. You really, really don't. And then for them to say, well, hey, we're going to have a barbecue. If you'd like to come over, you're more than welcome to and stuff like that. We only see that. Last time I saw something like that was on Edward Scissorhands. And Edward Scissorhands came out, 30-something years ago. Edward moved into the neighborhood. Everybody came piled up at the front door. I was like, okay, when is the cooking? About five.
So my neighbor bought me cookies.
Yeah, bring lemonade, and all that kind of stuff. Somebody bring a picture of lemonade to your house now, you're gonna be like, what that shit at? I don't know them, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh no, you don't eat that now. No, don't bring any dishes.
People don't want connection anymore.
Nah. But here's some cookies.
I don't know because
I don't say that they don't want it.
I want connection. This is why I do my book club. This is why I'm doing this podcast. I want community connection. I do not want to say stagnant. I want to grow. I want to be around like-minded people. And so I want community. That's why I joined the Black Hikers. Community. Getting to know people. Getting to meet people. Putting yourself out there. And that's what I hope will happen with my book club. That we will grow in the community and we'll do other stuff. I just love it. So I don't shun away from community. Now, I will say, depending on who my neighbor is, I don't just put myself out there to my neighbor. It depends on who. Now, if you show yourself friendly, then I'm going to be friendly to you. But if every time I'm on my side and you staring me down, you just staring, just a blank stare, I'm going to say, hey. And then you still don't say nothing, it's something wrong with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So that type of thing, no. But then Jason, another reason why your neighbors did that, I believe too, because they trying to figure out who you are.
Yes, that's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna add. Yeah, that's what I was gonna add.
This man, we need to see what he's all about, and that's really a
Yes.
smart thing to do. You know, to try to figure out who these people are that's moving in next to me, if that's something that you think needs to be done. But that was a smart move for them, and it was friendly as well. So
Yeah. And my neighbors brought me cookies.
did they? We took Jamel and them lemonade. You remember when Jamel Glenn them moved across the
I
street from us,
remember
and
when
we were in the same.
Didn't y'all take cookies too? I thought you did.
And lemonade to Jamel.
No,
Jamel
look
talking
at
about,
the one
girl, you
we
bringing us.
ain't seen hide nor hair of them since then.
Oh Lord, those were the good old days. He was the shit. You remember
They
Jamel?
really were. Jamel worked at McDonald's.
Yeah, he was so cool, so cool, so cool, so cool.
What
It's
year
interesting
did
that
he
you said
graduate,
about the
Christy?
neighbors because we.
96, baby. What is he talking about?
Oh, he graduated in 96 too.
96.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's why he got cookies and lemonade, not just cookies. He got both.
He was special.
Okay. He was very special. Nathaniel, what you said you find it interesting that what?
No, what you were saying, you talking about the neighbors because the owners of the house that's next to ours, they were renting it out to some young girls who were not Negroes, and they came over. Real talk. They came over. They gave us their names. Here's our phone numbers. If you need anything, we know you want to introduce ourselves. And hey, this is that. I'm like, okay, for renters. So, and we had another guy that moved across the street. Same thing. His dad came across the street, was like, hey, how you doing? White guy. I was like, oh, okay. In my head, I'm like, they just trying to figure out if I'm safe. You know what I mean? But,
You can't be mad at
hey,
that.
it is.
You
Yeah.
can't be mad at that,
Yeah.
cannot.
Definitely.
And the thing is that, isn't that the way it should be? And sometimes I kind of wish that, for as much as the world has evolved and all that kind of stuff, it's like we've come so far, but we've gone so far back too. Because people don't, are not desirous of that, and again, I was shocked because, first of all, let me just be real. My neighbors across the street, I thought they were a little on the hood side, whatever. And then here we are with these people who are some of the friendliest people I've ever met. You were genuinely, when the episode, when the car happened, they came, knocked on the door, they were like, you were not going to believe what just happened. We're sorry, this happened. Here's our insurance information and all that. And then call it, hey, did you set up your rental car? Hey, did you do this, and this? When I got the car out of the shop, they were like, are you satisfied with repairs and all that? Who does that in this day and age? Wouldn't it be cool if more people did it?
Go ahead. Right. And that's that connection. And so, speaking of being connected and being vulnerable enough, there's that word again, to allow yourself to be in these types of connections, do you believe that there is risk involved with connection? And if so, what are those risks that we may face when we are wanting to connect with people? Are there risks involved, and what are they?
You hurt.
I mean, there's always going to be a risk.
Rejection.
Yeah.
What are they?
You have hurt.
We
They're
just
just
talking
telling
about
you.
that.
Okay.
Is it the right motive?
Hey,
They
yeah.
want to get close to you for the right motive. It's always going to be a
Right.
risk. Are they genuine?
Am I going to get kidnapped and take to a body farm and put in the meat grind?
Girl, stop. Stop. Hey, look, no more horror movies for Cassandra. No more horror movies for you. Okay? No more songs.
Cassandra gonna be on a McDonald's burger. Cassandra.
The arch. The big
I'm
arch.
saying, meet people that end up in Bangkok some damn way.
But to be
that's
honest,
true.
when you
Okay, so then
put
she-
yourself out, you're gonna, anytime you're putting yourself out there, whether it be for a friendship, whether it be for a relationship, you're putting yourself out there. You never know how it's gonna end. You're just putting yourself out there to see what the results will be. Sometimes the results will be what you want them to be, or sometimes they'll be totally opposite.
Okay, so then should we just not make connections? Should we just stay to ourselves? Should we just be individuals and be okay with that?
No.
or should we risk being hurt?
I mean, but you know what? Yeah, but that's like saying, telling a child, don't run because you might fall. Well, think about that. You just said, I don't care. You know what I mean? Don't care. Just think
Yeah.
about that. No, you most
That's a
definitely.
good
That's how you grow.
You're gonna have to make connections.
Yeah, you have to.
You learn from
You
your
have, you have,
mistakes.
that's how you grow. You just said, yeah.
Okay,
I
so
want to grow.
so what scares people more, being alone or being hurt?
Being alone.
Say hurt.
Oh, I hear some different things. Shan, what you say?
I think for some people it's being alone.
For you, what is it for you? Being alone or being hurt?
For me, I thought you said in general. Okay, but for me, it's being hurt because I don't mind being
Okay.
alone.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Cassandra, hurt or alone?
Hurt.
Nathaniel?
I'm not hurt. I'm never alone. I have voices in my head.
Boy, what scares you the most?
I just said hurt.
Okay, we need to revisit the therapy because we didn't talk about these
Just
voices.
said that.
We need to revisit, cause sir,
Them voices.
what?
Hey, look,
Well, I
hey.
get what he's saying because we all talk about stepping away.
Exactly.
We're all full
Nah, but
Thank you, Cassandra.
the way you said that, Nate, that's kind of ooh.
No, that's the way you took it. Hey, look, you're giving me judgment. Okay, you're giving me judgmental.
He using his words. He using his words.
I'm using my words.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, you crossed my boundary, Nathaniel, by calling me judgy.
Hey, look, I need to protect my peace.
You triggered me. Oh my god. I am triggered. Yes, sir. Hurt or alone? Which one? Which scares you more?
See, let me tell you about me. I'm satisfied with Jesus alone.
Okay, so I would take it to mean that you were fearful of being hurt, correct?
Yeah, I ain't got time to be hurt. I'll be alone any day. I'm all right over here.
Yeah.
And
For me too, it would be hurt.
it would
Yeah.
be hurt.
It would be
And
hurt.
can I
Yeah.
circle back? Let me circle back. I think I want to change my answer to both
You can't have both, baby girl.
because really being hurt. But then as I grow older, nobody wants to be alone. You don't want to be alone. I mean, I'm good with it now, but I don't want to be good with it forever, right? So I'm good with it now, but I don't want to be good with it forever because we need.
But Cassandra, alone is a state of being, right? A state of mind.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, it is,
Meaning-
but in the same sense, we do need
Yeah.
companionship. We need to be.
Do we?
But you
Yes,
can
we do.
have a companion and still be
We do.
alone.
Correct.
That's true.
That's what I'm
We were
saying.
talking about that before.
But we're not getting into that. We're not getting into because
It's not- but it's a part of it though.
because that can go both ways with anything. We can say one thing and then bring the reverse of it. So, but I
No.
think that yes, you definitely need people in your life with you. You can't navigate this life being alone.
But do you feel when you say, now going back to, so when you say a companion, you're saying someone that's like their level of intimacy or like relationship versus like
Not
a friend. Like for
necessarily.
example, if I had a friend and I got somebody I'm really, really close to, and I consider them like somebody, I'm not say companion, but we are companions in things that we do, not companions in being together in a way of a more romantic way. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I would say in that sense,
Right.
I'm not alone. Versus if you look and say, okay, with somebody romantically and having that person, that's why we're trying to get clarification. That's all.
Well, I'm gonna say me with romantically. Yes.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
want to be
Okay.
alone for the
Okay.
rest of my life. Romantic.
Gotcha.
I think I'm too young from this point until the end of my life to say that, and I've already been single for many years before I got to this point. I
Right.
do not want to be alone. And
you
everybody, it was one point where I was okay with being alone. But that's one thing about life and living. you have the right to change. You have the right to evolve in the way
Absolutely.
that you
Right.
are
Most definitely.
and be where you are in that moment. And so in this
Yeah.
moment where I'm at, I'm okay right now, but I do know that down the line I don't want to be.
Yeah. You want
I,
somebody
for me,
that person.
and
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It really does. For me, I don't know. I feel like if I have like and that and thinking about it, like saying
It
it
goes
out
back to
loud subconsciously, that may be why I'm doing so much to do community stuff. Like I'm trying to build community with because the future of my situation, I'm gonna be that. You know what I'm saying? I will be alone. So I feel like that's why I'm trying to bring community together and build like a connections across the board with people to kind of fill in the gap
Fill in
of
that void that
right.
you're no longer gonna have
and
in
I
that
never
And yeah,
thought
you
partnership.
about
definitely
that to
gotta.
this very
I
moment.
have
I
plenty.
never thought about that like that until
Mhm.
right
Yeah,
this moment.
I have plenty friends. I love
Yeah.
everybody. But when you come home at the end of the day and you're alone, I
Yeah.
can pick up the phone and still laugh and talk, but at the end of the day, nobody wants to be alone forever.
And
Yeah.
I guess because I've been not alone ever, me and
Right.
Stephanie talk about this all the time. There's
Because
never been a
everybody's at
time,
different
there's
stages in their
never
life.
been a time in my life where I've been alone. From the
Really?
ever, I've never lived alone.
Girl.
Look, before me and Sergio got married, we got an apartment. Before we
Right.
got married, I secured an apartment. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
he stayed in that apartment, because we weren't doing no shacking. Louis Waddell was my daddy, so that wasn't happening.
Right.
And he wasn't
Nah.
coming to live with me, and I wasn't living with him. But he needed somewhere to live because he wasn't from here. So I went and rented an apartment. So he lived there. When we got married, we stayed in the apartment probably as long as we've been talking about it. Okay, I had got at least for 6 months. After that, my mom and them was like, "Y'all can just come on back because y'all don't be over there no way." So we moved back in with mom and them. 10 months later, the twins were born. We bought a house. We probably lived in that house, Jason, about as long as we've been talking about it, right? Was never there, came back. So even in all that, I've never been alone. I have never been alone. So I
Right.
said all the time, I don't even know what it's like to be alone. Like I'd like to see what that's like. Because
Yeah, and
there's
you-
never been a time when I've been
Yeah.
alone.
And
That's
that's how you're
interesting.
feeling now because you're coming out of something and this is a new experience for you. Everybody is at a different stage in their life with different feelings and how they're
Correct.
looking at the rest of their life.
No,
And
that's-
I've been there, done that. I've been where you are and done that. And I'm still doing that. And so now I'm like, I'm ready for another stage. I'm ready
And
to do
that's
something
beautiful.
different.
That's how where you are. This is where I am, and that's the beauty of
Right.
this podcast. Everybody has a different experience. So
Right.
I'm just saying, in my experience, I've never been alone. So being alone
Really?
would not. I don't think it would affect me in that.
Well, instead of saying you are
Right. And I mean,
being
if
alone,
you absolutely, yeah.
Here's the thing.
instead of saying being alone, just haven't been in a romantic relationship because you're not alone.
21 years. What are you talking about?
I know what I'm
You
telling. No,
talking to
because when you said, huh?
Who are you talking to?
I was talking to Sandra, but I'm
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
what were you saying?
No. I know what you're saying when you say the whole idea of being alone, but you gave the clarification about the idea of being in a romantic
Yeah.
relationship. Because
Yeah,
I mean, even with me, I went years without like with someone
Yeah.
monogamous. I was like,
Yeah,
because
and
I
I'm
was
not
okay
saying
with that.
absolutely, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's different stages for everybody in life. I've been married. I have shacked with guys. I have shacked up, and then
Yeah.
I've also been in a relationship where I was married. And up
Yes.
until that point, I had never been alone until after I separated from my husband. And then that was the lonely stage. I mean, that was not the lonely stage, but that was when I was alone, and I was happy and free. I was like, I was good. You hear me? Good. I was free of being away from my marriage. But that's been 20 years now. Okay? And I'm 20 years later now. And I don't want to continue another 20 years like this. If it is, if that's how God has it, then that's okay with me. But I would like to be with the companion
So,
in a
Cassandra,
relationship.
that's
Okay.
when we get into that conversation about well, I'll put it like this, I always use my favorite TV shows to convey points. One of my favorite episodes of Good Times was James and Florida were getting ready to go to this wedding. And Florida was having a fit for Walona to go because she wanted to set her up with this guy. And Walona was just not having it. She didn't want no parts of it and all that. And so they sat down and they had a talk at the end of the episode. And one of the things that Walona said to her was, she said, yes, I'm alone most of the time, but there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. And honey, Walona ain't lonely. I've been on my own since 2014. And probably the worst anxiety I had about being alone and lonely was probably like Artie came to live with me when I first moved into my apartment so I could get settled in for like maybe a month. And when Artie went home, I was just like, oh my God, I'm by myself all day, every day.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? What is that? You know, and all of that. And again, best friend was like, you need to learn how to keep your own self company. You know, you need to, and once I figured that out, once I figured out how to be my own company and to just enjoy Jason, just chilling. If I'm playing my game, if I'm on the phone with some or all of y'all and all that kind of stuff, I'm good because I'm alone, but I ain't lonely. I'm all right. And so then it got to a point of being, go ahead.
I think this is a good topic we need to talk about one time. And I do want to clear this up. I don't want to turn this into I'm lonely. 'Cause I'm not lonely. I'm not lonely. Because that's where I feel like this is going. I'm not lonely. I'm saying I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I don't really think they're talking about you. We're just talking.
No.
So
Not
I don't
you,
know
but
anybody's saying.
Right.
Because we know you and we know you're not lonely. I mean, we know, you
I'm
surrounded
just saying
by
that.
people every day, all day long. So,
I'm just saying I've been single for so long, and I am quite happy because I raised my daughter, and just to bring somebody else around her, I'm happy that I raised her in this way. But going forward in my life, and not saying that I want somebody right now, but I know I don't want to go another 20 years. Like, okay, no, that ain't what I want.
Yeah, so this is going to be the closing question. In a world where connection is so easy, again, we talked about it when we started off. We got the DMs, Snapchat, the group chat, the text, all of that. What does real connection actually require? Because we've already said that's not real connection. We've already broken it down, that texting and DMing and all of that is not real. The person could be sending out their best representative. We never know because they're behind the screen. So we know that's not real. So what does real connection require?
A form of intimacy. You have to be.
Okay, I hear effort. Let's see. Okay.
A form of intimacy.
Keep going, Shen.
You have to be willing to be face to face with someone. You have to be willing to have that interaction. You have to be willing to meet for lunch one day, go on meet for coffee, meet for drinks, have that one-on-one experience versus just being in front of a screen all day long. Because I think when you're in front of a screen, you, like you said, it's an excuse for a boldness. You can say whatever you want to say. You can do whatever you want to do. But when you're from behind that screen and you're in front of that person, it's like you have to be real with what you just said. So in order for it to develop, you have to have that form of intimacy.
Okay. All right. So effort, intimacy, Cassandra, what do you think real connection requires?
Well, what they said, same thing.
Okay. What about you, Professor J?
It has to be personable, and it has to be intentional. Just like Sam was saying about you have to be willing to be together, to share space. That's what I want to say. To share space at the same time, and all that. That's where the real connection comes in. And even though we're saying, intimacy, it doesn't necessarily mean, we know that intimacy doesn't necessarily mean a sexual type thing, but that you have a strong desire to be around your bestie, your family, your, and all that kind of stuff. And so that's what makes it genuine and real.
Yeah. And for me, I believe it needs to be consistent. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
and that's just me, some people don't agree with that. But I'm a type of person, like, I want constant conversation. I just do. I'm sorry. I just do want constant conversation. Some people might think that's too much. I don't believe it's too much. I just believe that if I'm getting to know somebody, it could be romantically or platonically. If I want to get to know you, I want to talk to you.
Right.
Is that too much to ask? Is that y'all tell me? Is that too much to ask? So I believe there should be
Not at
effort.
all.
I believe there should be intimacy. I believe there should be intentionality. I believe there should be in consistency, and I believe there should be engagement on both parts.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like, don't have me doing all the talking.
Touch grass. Get
Okay.
out and touch grass.
Correct.
Get out and
It's
touch
exchange.
grass.
The conversation
Yes.
should be an exchange of thoughts, ideas.
Yes. Yes.
Not just one sided, because then I'll be like, bye, because I don't feel like you interested. But y'all, yeah. So to everyone watching and listening, conversations like this don't have to end with agreement. They don't, and that's okay. Like Cassandra said, everybody is in a different stage of life, and that's okay to agree to disagree. But they should always end with understanding, okay? And we should always be able to see things from somebody else's perspective. So if tonight's discussion made you think, if it challenged something, or it made you see a perspective that you hadn't considered before, then we did exactly what Shenanigans is meant to do. Thank you to our panel. I love y'all so much for keeping it real tonight. And thank you to everyone tuning in. This has been She-Nanigans and Friends. Hey, friends. Hey.